Hello, good evening. Sometimes you can't sleep. You go to bed early because it's hot, and then your brain plays plays havoc with your thoughts. Annoying, really, but sometimes it becomes the thought pattern for thoughts for the day. And tonight, my thought for the day is again back to relationships within the Philippines. And the reality is that oh, sometimes you just wonder, what do you do wrong? It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be just simply a friendship. But the same thing applies here in the Philippines, and that is that I found, that's myself, and this is just my own opinion, of course, but I wonder how many of you also experience it too. And that is that we all are ourselves. We all have our different funny little characteristics about how we think about things, how we do things. But often we spend a lot of our time, I think, in the Philippines trying to circumvent the opposite reaction from a Filipino. I don't think they specifically set out to be argumentative, annoying, or to be annoyed by us as foreigners. But I do think that they have their way of doing things. And for us to do something differently brings into question, why are we doing it that way? And I suppose the answer is that that's the only way we've known how to do these things, the way we think, the way our own logic works. But what can be really quite a simple thing, like, why'd you put a sticky plaster on that? It's only a little scratch. Well, because we've been used to putting sticky plasters on what some people might consider just a little scratch. Is there a reason? No, it's just habit. And we as foreigners do have these habits that seem to niggle away at Filipinos because they just don't understand why we do what we do. And likewise, the other way around, and that is that have you ever tried to stand your ground, be determined to get your point across? It doesn't work. It doesn't work 90% of the time, does it? And you think to yourself, you're not trying to win a war, not trying to win a battle even, just trying to be understood and therefore treated as just a normal person within the framework of a relationship, friendship, companionship. I mean, there's a custom here, for instance, of taking one's shoes off when one walks into a home. One's own home is up to the individual as to whether that is a custom that you want to continue. But for some, it's a very important issue. Maybe it's a superstition, maybe it's just simply a custom for them and they just can't get out of it. But of course, if you forget to do that, it's almost like you've trodden on hollow ground and you have to quickly take your shoes off and return the offending item to the place it's supposed to be. Do we do it intentionally? I don't think so. But also, we have to remember that each each different culture, it doesn't mean the culture is different. It means the people are different. You can have a whole load of Filipinos. One bunch do this, one bunch do that. Just like you have foreigners doing the same. Some foreigners hate doing dishes. Some don't mind. Some are quite happy for their wives or girlfriends to run around for them, to in effect be their waitress 24/7, getting in the habit of putting your dirty clothes in a bin. Can irritate people if you've stupidly forgotten and left it on a chair. It's almost like, are you lazy? Can't you do that? Well, of course, when you learn as a child, it's repetition that makes a child learn quicker. Come on, take your shoes off, Johnny. Put your dirty linen in the dirty linen basket. Don't forget to take your bottles out. Put them in the recycle. All these things are irritating to many. Don't have to be a Filipino to do that. But when you establish a relationship, a friendship, all of these things come into play. And of course, if it's second or third or fourth time round here in the Philippines, that's 4 times you've got to learn the same things again, and maybe many more different ones. And that comes to a forefront when you decide to make that your person of interest, the one that you're going to spend the rest of your time with. And these are difficult moments to get your head around. Being too laid back here in the Philippines can also be seen as being lazy. They can't understand why maybe the last one was better trained than you are, maybe more organized than you were. Always a comparison being drawn. Whether or not it's verbally spoken about with you is another thing. You don't know until you're told. We're always learning. We're learning about what makes her tick, what she dislikes, and what she doesn't mind. Of course, humour can soften the blow, but after a while, humour becomes annoying to all, especially if they feel you're sort of taking the mickey or not taking them seriously. Because for Filipinos, they so want to be taken seriously at so many different levels. And you wonder why. Why life has to be so serious? Why does it have to follow such a regimental way? And again, from one person to another, every person is different. Some of you might say, oh, what's he talking about? I've never had any of that happen to me. Really? Okay. Lucky you. Because I've known lots of Filipinos that can get irritated by things that we say, maybe just in passing. And we have to mentally make a hasty retreat in what we've said, softening it with maybe a little bit of humour. And within relationships too, you can find yourself in major conflict with somebody who says, you don't listen to me. And you think, I've heard every word you said. What they mean is you haven't said what they want to hear you say. They want you sometimes to admit defeat, to admit wrong, even when you know you haven't done anything wrong. Now that's very hard for most people to swallow, whether you're a foreigner or not. But nevertheless, it permeates through society here. Even young women will say the same thing. They will criticize you in a playful way at the start. But as time gets on and they get a bit more used to you around them, they will also stand their ground. Is that a Western way? Is it a Filipino way? I don't know. But the point is that having a Filipino in your life, no matter what age they are, is a real challenge. Knowing whether they're serious or not is another one. They can say, "Oh, I love you, darling," but do they really? Or are they just saying the words that you want to hear? We as foreigners love that word. "I love you, darling." We love to hear that. It's reassuring. It's a reassurance. But love is dished out here almost like a word like "and" or "then" or, it's just a fill-in word to a sentence. It doesn't have the same connotation in the world. And it's not just the Philippines, but in the Philippines, there's certain words that are used in everyday communication. Respect is another one. You don't respect me. That's not showing respect. Everything is respect. Everything. You're not putting your rubbish away the way I've shown you. You're not showing me respect. Pinching you on the bum, maybe. Oh, that's not being respectful. Oh, I thought that's being affectionate. All these kinds of things can surprise us all. So, of course, if you come to the Philippines and you're from a country where I'm talking a load of gobbledygook, you're the man of the house. What you say goes. It doesn't here. Philippines, the woman rules the roost here. The men are quite subservient in a way. They seem to just go with the flow. They know that if they push their luck too far, the volcano will explode. And you've heard me talk about volcanoes. Your little darling volcano, your little Filipina. That's what she is. She's ready at any point to explode. Maybe a tempo here and there. Ooh, I hate that tempo. But that's living in the Philippines. And that's my evening thought for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye now.